The Bills sign Brandin Cooks to the 53-man roster. He was released by the Saints. There was a whole weird story about how he was trying to get his release, and New Orleans was willing to grant it, but they were trying to move money in ways that would make him less appealing on waivers so that he could get to a contender, and that became a whole controversy because there was collusion talks. And I guess none of that ended up coming to fruition, the collusion stuff, and teams exploring that. So he got available, and he signed with the Bills. 803-0550 is the phone number. Good morning. It's Jeremy and Joe. If you got a thought on Cooks, give it our way. I'll give you mine. It's that he is, I think all the jokes being made about the Bills receiver room and Brandon Beane and, still searching at this stage in the season for somebody that could actually help you. Especially down the field, which, hey, that's what Cooks did for the majority of his career. That was his thing. He was a downfield vertical threat, really fast. He came into the league with a 4.33 40 time. He's always been a good player. I don't know that he still is that. And at 32 years old, there's a lot of mileage on the tires for him. And he's last in the NFL this year in yards per route run. He's run a lot of routes this year for the Saints and hasn't gotten the ball a lot. So I think there is ample reason to make fun of them for this if you want, if that's your prerogative and you want to do that. For me, it's what the hell, give it a shot. I don't see the downside of it, I guess, is why. So again, if it's worth mocking because this is the state of the receiver room, that's different to me than should they have done this. Yeah, you should have. No money down the line, total free agent, rental, no commitment. If he doesn't give you anything, you could just bench him or cut him. So there's really no downside. And the upside, I guess, would be he's got anything left in the tank. And he's got anything left in the tank doing the things that made him such a great player for such a long time. And he's been a great player. I mean, almost 10,000 receiving yards in the NFL all time. I got some trivia for you guys. There's not many 10,000-yard receivers in NFL history. There's about 50. It's not like there's nothing, but there's about 50. So we'll get to your phone calls, but I got some trivia. Brandin Cooks, right now, 9,697 career receiving yards. There are 7 active players with more receiving yards than Brandin Cooks. Who are they?
Ooh. Okay. Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is absolutely correct.
Okay.
12,800.
Yeah.
He's well above.
Okay. That's one.
Julio
Mike
Jones.
Evans, who, by the way, they're talking like he actually will come back before the end of the regular season. So
Really?
DeAndre Hopkins, is he ahead of him?
DeAndre Hopkins is the active leader, 13,197, which is 19th all-time, 1 yard behind Andre Reed.
Okay.
Give me Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams is correct.
Okay.
12,475.
Would Cooper Kupp have been on that list? Just taking a shot.
No on Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
Cooper Kupp
Long enough.
is no 8,100. He's behind a couple of other active
There's
guys.
one that's very easy that we should get here, Joe. Do you know what it is?
No. What?
Diggs.
Oh, yeah. Steph.
Diggs, 11,170.
Yup.
Diggs just passed in the last couple of games Chad Johnson and Joey Galloway.
Wow.
Jefferson's too young to have gotten there.
Yeah. How many is that? How many do we have?
You have
4
receivers, players with more receiving yards
D-Hop, Evans, Adams,
than
Diggs.
Cooks. Yeah, you're missing 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so 3 more.
3 missing.
Trying to think of just older wide receivers who are still maybe bouncing around from team to team, or what's going on. Are they all receivers?
Yeah, receivers only?
They are not all receivers.
Okay, Travis
Kelce.
Travis Kelce is correct.
It's immediately where my mind goes.
12,800. If he gets 300 more yards, he'll pass Hopkins as the active leader.
Wow.
Hopkins doing nothing for Baltimore, so that might happen.
I'm just thinking guys who take shots down the field kind of a thing. Like, I know Tyreek Hill didn't play for that. Like, he's not as long, but he was deep like 90% of the time, I guess.
Lockett's not Lockett never got there, right?
No,
No.
Enough
Lockett,
yards.
8,800.
Closer than I
Lockett
thought.
is actually
Yeah.
the next active leader behind Brandin Cooks.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill.
That's where I was going.
11,300 for Tyreek Hill, and you're missing one other active players with more receiving yards than Brandin
Old
Cooks.
guy that gets
There's only
downfield.
7.
Maybe doesn't get downfield anymore, but who's
Yeah,
an old
used
guy
to.
that got downfield?
Some other guys that Cooks might pass that are not active while with the Bills. Demarius Thomas, the late great Demarius Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
T.Y. Hilton, Wes Welker, maybe Eric Moulds he'll get to. Hey, there's Amari Cooper.
Chargers receiver.
Quentin Johnston?
No, he's too
terrible
young.
guess.
I know.
The older guy.
You should be kicked out of the room for that.
Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen.
Sorry,
you got
I heard
it.
Chargers receiver, and I just went.
11,800.
Sweet.
That's your list.
all right.
That was that?
That's that. 5 teams. He's like the only guy on this list. There's a couple guys that did it
I
with
think I
5
read
teams.
earlier somewhere that he's one of 2 guys to have over 1,000 yards with 4 different teams.
Yep. I don't know
pretty good.
why he was traded so many times early in his career. Because he was always good, and he was never a headache. I guess it was he was just not good enough to pay the big tier 1 receiver money to, but he was good, and why not just give him that second? It was very strange. He goes from the Saints to the Rams to the Texans to the Cowboys to the Saints, and now to the Bills. 803-0550 is the phone number. I think it is possible he could help them. I do not believe that he is going to come in and catch 5 passes a game and be a wide receiver 1. But I think he could be an answer. I'll put it this way. I think it's possible he could walk onto the roster and be the Bills' best deep threat. Even at this stage of his career, even at this age, I think it is very possible he walks onto the team and is their best deep threat. So that's why, for me, I'm willing to give it a shot. I think it's worth mocking, too, that they're at this point. But at this stage in the game, this is about as good as you're going to do. And it's not a former Bill. And if you're annoyed by all the former Bills, this was not one of those. Rob in Connecticut is next up. What's up, Rob?
Good morning, Joe, and also Joe Cali and Owen. I'd like to wish you guys a very happy Thanksgiving, and everybody at WGR 550. I was just thinking that, what am I thankful for? 3 years ago, when I lost my vision, my eyesight, and the last Buffalo Bills game that I was able to see was the 13-second game, I didn't know what I was going to do. And then my fiance turned me on to WGR 550, and I listen to you guys every day. And you are my eyes, and you know that. So I'm very thankful for you guys for getting me through, all the ups and downs of the Buffalo Bills, first off.
Thanks,
And,
Rob.
you guys really, you're like family to me, seriously. It's just not a job for me. But one of the things I wanted to say was Owen brought up a good point about comparing Kansas City Chiefs with the Buffalo Bills and where we're at. It's like we're walking on eggshells. Like one false mistake, one mistake we make, we're not gonna make it. It's like, and that's a hard part. We're predictable. The playbook is predictable. But as far as bringing back a old Buffalo Bill, a former Buffalo Bill, I want to get on this list. By the way, I told Joe yesterday, Tremaine Edmonds. Don't be surprised if he comes back. So I'm going to throw that out there. Brandin Cooks. I would have rather woke up this morning and heard Brandon Ayuk. When I heard Ayuk was having problems out in San Francisco, I would have rather brought him back. Is Brandin Cooks going to be just a Band-Aid? I'll give it a shot. I'm willing to see what this guy can do for us, but is it just a Band-Aid? Is that supposed to make us feel better?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what happens. But once again, thanks, guys. That's my feeling on Brandin Cooks. We'll see what happens, but is he just a Band-Aid?
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
Temporary fix.
Thanks, Rob. Happy Thanksgiving. Cooks, I think is exactly what he is. He is a Band-Aid. I would say, though, that, listen, a Band-Aid is a Band-Aid is not a bad thing when you have an open wound, and that is what wide receiver has been for the entirety of the season. So, yes, like, I do not believe this is a long-term relationship. If he was on the team week 1 next year, it'd be stunning. But what they've needed this year is a Band-Aid. And that is why it is, I guess, so demoralizing that receiver continues to be a topic of conversation, but it's because this is where they end up. They end up needing help at all turns. And you're into week, 12, 13 here, and you're bringing in the best veteran that's available because you're the team that makes the most sense for. When I saw that he was available, I think a lot of people were connected like, oh, that makes sense for the Bills. Does he have anything left in the tank? Is he free? Can he go right on the roster? Like, it all just made a lot of sense to sign him, bring him in, and now play him. I guess they don't sign him to the 53-man roster if they don't plan on playing him. And what your level of expectation should be, I would say the best case scenario, like what I would sign up for right now is give me what Amari Cooper gave me last year. Can Cooks do that? In 8 games, that was 297 yards for Amari Cooper with the Bills. That was 37 yards a game. And it wasn't consistent. It was a couple of big games. He had a big game in his first game against Tennessee, where he had 66 yards and a touchdown. He had a big game against the Rams, where he had 95 yards. And then he had 56 and a touchdown against the Jets. But you've got disappearing X. You got 1 catch for 3 yards against Seattle. 3 catches for 12 yards against San Francisco. He had no targets. How about that? Amari Cooper, he was on the field. He played half the snaps. The Bills scored 48 points against Detroit, and Allen never threw it to Amari Cooper. Not once. The playoffs, there wasn't much. Like, he did not make a consistent impact. But what I got was a couple of big plays every other game, and a lot of them were down the field. The big touchdown he had against the Jets was down the field, right? The Rams plays were often down the field. I get some big plays, and I get a couple of games where he makes a real impact. If that ends up being what we get out of Tyler Lockett here, then I think that is a success. Again, given that he's free at this point. They didn't give up an asset. He was just available. So it's hard for me to see the downside. The consequence of signing him, though, and of Davis probably getting added to the team, and I want to get to how this impacts Keon Coleman, because I think it was already, Jeremy asked me on Monday, like, how does Coleman get back in? And I answered, I don't know that he's going to. He is, in terms of outside perimeter receivers, especially the big-bodied ones, he is behind Shavers, he is behind Davis. And unless you're going to go play him in Josh Palmer's role, which is the other perimeter guy that's off the line, more of a separator, speed guy, that doesn't make much sense for him. And Palmer outranks him. Well, now Cooks is also in the fold. Cooks is a perimeter guy. And he can do a little bit of slot too, but historically, he's a perimeter guy. So I got another outside perimeter receiver. And I don't know how Coleman's getting back on the field with another body. Maybe he's going to get cut. 803-0550, the phone number. How it impacts Coleman, Cooks' role on the roster. You got a thought on that? Feel free to give us a call. If you're on hold, stay there. We'll get to you when we return. It's Jeremy and Joe. Jeremy is off this morning, and this is WGR.